Before we jump into today's courtroom showdown, let me set the stage for you. This is a follow-up to a defendant who previously appeared in Judge Perkins' courtroom, claiming to operate under the Constitution in a way that many judges immediately recognize as a classic sovereign citizen argument. Last time, the judge asked him for just one single court case where a sovereign citizen actually won using those theories. Just one. And today, the man returns claiming he finally has that proof. But as you're about to see, what he thinks is a winning argument might actually turn into one of the most uncomfortable courtroom reality checks we've seen in a while. Watch carefully, because this exchange reveals exactly what happens when internet legal theories collide with real courtroom procedure.
All right, is Clyde there?
Yes.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Are you Clyde Lynch?
Yes.
Did you send me an email?
Yeah. It was about the Dearborn situation, but you know, it was just something to show. But
this is the sovereign citizen situation. Let me see. Let me see you when you hold on. Turn your camera on.
it is on.
The sovereign citizen situation, right?
I don't know what that word means.
Right away, you can see the familiar pattern judges deal with in these cases. The defendant immediately tries to distance himself from the label sovereign citizen, even while describing arguments that come directly from that movement's playbook. This happens constantly in courtrooms across the United States. Many people who follow these theories believe that simply invoking constitutional language or citing Supreme Court cases will automatically invalidate traffic laws, licensing requirements, or jurisdiction. But courts have consistently ruled that these interpretations are legally incorrect. Judges recognize the arguments instantly because they've heard them many times before. So the real question here becomes, will the defendant bring something genuinely new, or is this just the same recycled argument that judges reject every single time?
Well, yeah. I'm gonna say. I'm not saying that I'm one of them, but I'm just saying I'm operating under what the Constitution Supreme Court ruling is talking about.
What is that? What's Supreme Court ruling?
Well, Your Honor, let's just proceed with the case. I know that's what we're doing now. I don't even want to. Let's proceed because I'm supposed to receive videos of the of the traffic stops.
Now here's where the conversation shifts towards something that actually does matter legally: evidence. The defendant starts talking about videos from the traffic stop, body camera footage, or dash cam recordings. In real courtroom procedure, that kind of evidence can absolutely be important. If police footage contradicts an officer's testimony, it could potentially affect the outcome of a case. But the key issue isn't just whether the footage exists, it's whether the defendant properly requested it through the correct legal process known as discovery. Courts operate on strict procedural rules, and even valid evidence can become complicated if the request for it wasn't filed properly. So at this point, the judge isn't dismissing the idea of evidence. He's trying to figure out whether the request followed the rules required by law.
All right. You have
only seen one video.
And when let's see Lynch's file. No, those sovereign citizens gonna make me famous.
Well, Your Honor, when the officer pulled me over and he said that, I didn't say those words. I just told him I'm operating under the Constitution, and that's all else I said to him. And he just basically lied, said I was disgruntled, asked for backup and all that. And the video would show I wasn't even whatever, I can't think of the word he said, but he was saying I need backup, I have a irate or whatever word he said, and that was not even true.
Listen closely to the judge's response here, because it's actually a pretty fair explanation of how courts work. He's basically saying, I'll consider any argument you want to make, but the constitutional theory you're relying on has never succeeded in court. That's not the judge being dismissive. That's him stating a legal reality backed by decades of rulings. Courts don't operate on personal interpretations of the Constitution. They rely on binding precedent, meaning prior court decisions that establish how laws are applied. And up to this point, sovereign citizen arguments about driver's licenses, jurisdiction, or travel versus driving have repeatedly failed in courtrooms across the country. So the judge is giving the defendant a chance to present something new, but he's also warning him that the existing argument simply doesn't match the law as it currently stands.
All right, well, what I'm going to say is if some video exists, the last time you were here, I know it was set for trial because Corporal Bennett appeared and Officer Dunn appeared. I don't see anything here that says anything about requesting video.
I sent it to the law department, and I believe I sent it to you that day because you gave me the email address, and I sent the email
Let me
to
check
you.
let me check my email.
Because I sent it to the wrong
I believe
email
I
address.
remember you saying that.
Yeah, I sent it to the wrong email address, and I had to write it correctly.
Was this sent to me by mistake? I got Dearborn 19 District Court stuff?
Yeah, I just sent that like a couple of days ago because when I went to go get all my files, the affidavit, one page was missing out the affidavit, which was the body of the affidavit. And I haven't heard anything about it until I went up there to check on my paperwork, and then they gave me a bill. So I just walked out the courtroom. I've been trying to find some federal assistance on that because all my documents gone, CDs, DVDs, all that, all my paperwork. Only what they gave me, and I'm like, it's supposed to be another page to this. They say that's all they had. So I got all the recordings of the whole transaction and everything.
Well, Mr. Lynch, I can appreciate you, and I will definitely listen to any kind of argument that you have, and I'm going to make a ruling on it. But at the end of the day, this Constitution and stuff argument, I haven't seen it work. I'll just let you know. And the stuff that you gave me last time, we had a long conversation about that. And it's just not, I want to make sure all of the stuff is in this file now too. It's just what you're saying is just not the state of the law. I don't know any other way to say it.
Now this next moment is actually fascinating from a courtroom strategy perspective. The judge offers the defendant two options: take a plea deal or proceed to trial. But what's really interesting is that the judge suggests a jury trial instead of deciding the case himself. Why? Because the judge openly admits that based on the legal arguments presented so far, he already knows how he would rule. A jury trial gives the defendant a different audience, 12 ordinary citizens instead of one legal expert. In theory, jurors might be more sympathetic or persuaded by emotional arguments. It's not a guarantee of success, but from the judge's perspective, it's the only scenario where the defendant might have even the smallest chance of convincing someone.
But if you have some new stuff, I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say.
Well, basically what I'm going to say, we just going to continue with the case, and whatever comes about. If the paperwork I given wasn't irrelevant, that's it then. So what is the next step?
So either the next step is take a plea, which I'm sure you don't want to do, but I'll give you the offer, or take it to trial, and those are the next steps.
Well, I guess we're going to have to go to trial.
I'm gonna set it for a jury trial too, so you can bring this in front of a jury of your peers, and and see.
Here the defendant believes he's found his winning example. When the judge asked for a case where a sovereign citizen won, the defendant claims the answer is himself, saying previous cases against him were dismissed. But legally, that's not what the judge meant at all. A case being dismissed can happen for dozens of reasons: lack of evidence, procedural issues, missed deadlines, or even prosecutorial discretion. None of those outcomes mean the court accepted sovereign citizen arguments as valid law. What the judge asked for was something very specific: a court ruling where a judge reviewed those legal theories and agreed they override normal laws. And that's something that, to date, essentially does not exist in binding precedent.
You know what they say, and I guess
my
you don't want a lawyer, right?
The other cases that I had got dismissed for same situation. So
Say what?
the other cases I had for this was dismissed, and you told me to give you one name of one person, and I could have said it then and there. It was myself. I had court cases for the same thing, and it was dismissed on whatever circumstances happened. It was dismissed.
And what do you mean by that?
For the same driving
Let's do this. Let's call it and put it all on the record. I have my court reporter back. Let's call it and put it on the record, all right? This is the city of Detroit versus Clyde Darnell Lynch. Case numbers.
How you doing?
SP 1537940, counts 1 and counts 2. SP 1554736, counts 1 and counts 2. SP 1558135, counts 2 and counts 3. SP 1590696, counts 1 and counts 2. Mr. Lynch, state your name for the record, please.
Clyde Lynch.
All right. So, Mr. Lynch, let me ask you this, and this is just to understand, try to really get a grasp of your position. I understand you're why don't you, if you're not a sovereign citizen, usually sovereign citizens tell me, I don't want a lawyer. If you're not claiming the sovereign citizenship, why don't you get a lawyer to help you out with this?
I can't never find no attorney. The last attorney I got, they was telling me you should have just took a deal, you should have paid the ticket, and you really can't find nobody who's going to take your case. So basically, I'm in limbo, and basically all I have to say, not guilty with impunity.
Let's say this. I guess if you're not willing to,
so I'm not a national, so I can't say that. All I'm saying, I'm just a citizen, and all I'm going to say, not guilty with impunity.
Well, how are you immune to this? Because I mean, let's just do this. You don't have to. You don't have to tell me how you're going to proceed with your case. You're fully in the right to proceed however you want to proceed. I'm going to just give you a jury trial, and you'll have to present what you need to present in front of a jury. Will you allow me to assign a lawyer to you just for the purposes of, helping you out with the courtroom procedure and stuff?
You can do that.
On Lynch, we just sent a request for a different attorney. It was his request, and I understood his request, so we're just hoping for a different attorney.
Right.
But I think if I'm understanding our conversation, he does not want a jury trial. Mr. Lynch, was that correct?
No, I'm going to give him a jury trial because, listen, he's already filed. Where's Mr. Lynch?
Right here.
All right, let's go back on the record with Mr. Clyde Darnell Lynch. Mr. Lynch, turn your camera on.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
I'll give you a prompt.
Okay, hold on. Here you go.
So he's already filed a lot of things with me, and we've had a long discussion about what he's filed and the legalities of it. I don't find anything that he's filed that has any merit. So that's why I'm giving you a jury trial, because if you bring the same stuff in a trial, if it's the same as what you're giving me and the stuff that you're professing, based on what I see, you're gonna lose.
So
by me.
If the judge is saying the information is not valid and the people don't know nothing, so why won't I put my hands in the hands of the people?
Because first of all, what I'm telling you is I'm trying to give you a fighting chance with these arguments that you're making. What I'm telling you is you're not going to have a fighting chance with me. You're going to lose unless you come with something substantially different than what you have. At least with the people, you said it yourself. They don't know the law, or they might not even know the law. So you may be able to get them to side with you just because they love Mr. Lynch and they want to. I don't know. But other than that,
no jury. I really don't know people jury. I'm not even gonna do that. So if I found guilty, so I'm gonna have to sue every person that was a juror.
I don't know what you're gonna have to do. I don't know, Mr. Lynch. You're the one that's making these arguments up, and you're the one that has researched and done what you've done. You provided that stuff to me, so you're expected to know the law. You're expected to know the law. So whether you can sue jurors and whether you can sue whoever, that's going to be on you to know, and then or if you don't know, that's going to be on you to find out.
Okay, so I have to get back with the law department about the videos and the dash cam of the police officers.
That I can Mr. Bowman, can you put your appearance on the record, please?
Honor, Mr. Bowman, for the people, P33764.
All right. Now, Mr. Lynch, now I can potentially help you if the stuff exists. Mr. Lynch is asking for body cam and whatever discovery that body cam, audio, video, whatever discovery that the people have in relates to his matter.
Your Honor, I understand that, and discovery would be provided if he files a valid request pursuant to the court rule for discovery.
So you saying I haven't done that previously? I don't see the law.
Hold on, Mr. Lynch. Your Honor, if I'm not mistaken, the court rule just says upon request. He's made his request today. I don't think that there's anything in the court rule that requires anything other than him making a request. Mr. Lynch has made his request for discovery, and I believe it's supposed to be provided to him.
Court rule provides for a written request, and that has not happened.
All right, let's the discovery rule 6. We're gonna know this discovery rule, and you got
it forward and backwards.
Yeah, you need to get this book. You need to get this book, Mr. Lynch.
And this exchange perfectly captures the ongoing clash between online legal myths and real courtroom procedure. The defendant truly believes his interpretation of the Constitution gives him immunity from traffic laws, while the judge patiently explains that courts operate based on established legal precedent, procedural rules, and evidence. By granting a jury trial, the judge actually gives the defendant the fairest possible opportunity to present his arguments, even though the court itself already knows those theories have no legal standing. Ultimately, cases like this highlight why understanding real legal processes is so important. Courtrooms run on documented law, not internet interpretations. If you found this courtroom showdown as fascinating as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments about what you think will happen at the trial, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns just like this one.